Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast. I am sitting in the host chair this week. It is me, Tim. Doug is off this week. He actually was in Canton, Ohio. Yes, he went to the Football Hall of Fame. He sent us a picture of the wonderful Randy Moss's bust. It was a thing of beauty.
Straight cash on me.
Yeah, straight cash on me. You've heard Tyler here, as always. The creator of Dynasty Happy Hour, and he's brought on a fantastic guest. Many of you would know him as the Dynasty Outhouse on Twitter. Russ, my man, how you doing? Thanks for being on the show this week, sir.
I'm doing great. It's fine. It's great to finally be here on a show where Tyler is here for.
Yeah, that's true.
Last time he was on, Tyler was not here, and I think he was taking shots at you for not being here, if I remember correctly.
Many times.
Yes.
I
do remember that too. That's why I brought you on, because we actually have that guest Tim was talking about coming down later. So, I mean, we weren't actually introducing you. We were actually introducing another guest. Sorry, Russ. All that good stuff was.
Oh, so I'm like, that's fine. I'm part of the crew now. That's how I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this as I'm one of the hosts as opposed to an unwanted person.
So how do we break this to Doug then? How do we bring this up to Doug? Russ is taking your chair.
It's rough. If anything, I should probably just exit myself and give Doug this chair. Doug's one of the best. I love Doug. I'd hate to see him not be on the show.
I should exit and give you my chair.
We just all take turns exiting and giving each. You do the show. No, you do the show.
More importantly, this is my show now.
Russ just stays. Russ now becomes the anchor, and the other three of us just rotate through. Hey, it makes sense. We had Russ on once. He now owns everything that is Dynasty
Happy Hour.
The Russ Happy Hour. I mean, he's a lot like who just took over DLF?
The Open Bar.
Yeah, the Open Bar. There you go.
They took over. Hey, damn, Doug, that was fast. The Open Bar is taking over everyone. They took over DLF. They took over the Dynasty Addicts podcast network, my network. They're just taking over everything. Like, we are going to be one family under the Open Bar. That's what we're going to be.
There it is. You know what they haven't taken over though? Dynasty nerds. I mean, and the footballers.
Matter of time.
I was going to say, just give J Mike just a few more months, and he's going to have it all. So
that's J Mike's way. I mean, he acts nice. He sits there and he kind of like, hey man, this is cool, and then gives you a good old karate chop in the throat. You're out.
Yeah, that smooth voice that J Mike has lulls you into this sense of like, oh god, it's just I could listen to this guy. Oh god, he got me. And then like Tyler said, you're out. It's all over.
Game over.
So on this week's show, we will have a little bit of COVID talk with some opt-outs and the COVID IR. Obviously, we have our stats and stuff. Tyler is going to bring up his new segment again this week and some fantasy news. But first, before we get into any of that, I wanted to talk about one of our sponsors, and that is the Dynasty Owner. I know personally I've been looking for a new challenge, and that is why I am playing Dynasty Owner Fantasy Football this season. Dynasty Owner Fantasy Football unites the fun and excitement of fantasy football with the skill and strategy of a real NFL front office. Dynasty Owner is the only way to play fantasy football with real NFL salaries, adding the strategy of running an NFL franchise. Dynasty Owner provides a unique challenge for diehard football fanatics like you and me. Go to dynastyowner.com/DHH. Leagues are forming now. That's dynastyowner.com/DHH. We've all been in a league where the winner just got lucky. And if you're like me, you know that you're better than most. Dynasty Owner gives you the platform to prove it. Dynasty Owner favors skilled players who can manage their rosters using real NFL salaries with the salary cap. It adds an entirely new level of strategy. Go to dynastyowner.com/DHH. Validate your fantasy football skills. Once again, that is dynastyowner.com/DHH. Dynasty Owner, start your dynasty today. So I know personally, the way I normally draft for Dynasty would be completely shifted in the Dynasty Owner because of the rookie contracts and things like that, trying to find the values there. So normally when, if I would want to get in the league and go with that, I'm going to win right now mentality, you might have to pay up for some big buck guys and then try to find out some milling contracts there to fill out the rest of your roster, where you find a bunch of those rookie salaries and hope within the first 4 or 5 years you can pull it off. But
see, I need a league where the lucky people win. So
Russ is tired of just dominating with all his skills, and he needs, somebody just beat him with pure luck. So if you're that lucky guy,
I appreciate the way you took that spin.
I mean, Russ is really good at fantasy. He just is, he runs in the bad luck, especially the UDPL league that we're in. I mean, bad luck, just bad luck.
It happens. What was that, week 15? I want to say 2 years ago. I mean, Todd Gurley crapped the bed. I remember that because he was
traded for Cam Newton and he didn't even get to use him at the end. We've heard this before, Doug, Tim. I'm still like, Doug told me to piss off and I'm still feeling it. It's stuck in my.
Doug destroyed your confidence
in my brain for the next hour.
Doug, even when you're not here, you're still here. See, it's awesome. All right, so let's get into some fantasy news. Obviously, the COVID opt-outs started really blowing up the news wire this week. A bunch of them occurred over the past few days. Fantasy relevant players include Green Bay, I guess if you want to call him fantasy relevant, Green Bay wide receiver Devin Funchess.
Yeah.
Eagles wide receiver Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah.
And some running backs for Kansas City. Now, who many people thought was going to be the Super Bowl MVP, Mr. Williams, has opted out, along with one of their starting offensive linemen. We talked about this last week with Tardif. And obviously he's doing this for, not that any of these guys aren't making these decisions, half-heartedly or anything, but, Tardif obviously has a very, very good reason for him doing it. But with Williams out of the way now, is it now Clyde Edwards-Helaire for the Dynasty 101?
I mean, he has an ADP of 105 apparently, which is
a
little vomitous.
Insane.
Okay, I've been holding this in, and it's
okay.
If we thought Damian Williams was enough to hold back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, how the hell are we still good putting him at 105? Like, if all that was in his way was a running back who was trashed for 5 years until he got onto a different team, and that was okay when he was healthy. Don't roll your eyes. Damian Williams was bad on the Dolphins.
Everybody was bad on the Dolphins, first off. And Damian Williams in Oklahoma was not a bad prospect. He was not a bad player. I asked a couple of my very in-tune Dolphins buddies, like, what is going on in Miami? This guy's just not produced. What's happening? And yes, even when he went to Kansas City, it still took him time and some injuries and some trades for him to finally see the field, to the point where they're like, man, maybe we should have been starting this guy a little bit longer. But I do agree with you that this guy, for the majority of his career, Dolphins, Chiefs, wherever, has been a middling talent. But yes, if a middling talent so far in his career has been holding back the presumptive, at this point, 105 in startup drafts, why are we all of a sudden jumping at this? I mean,
I don't have an answer.
Let's be honest. If we're talking about middling talents, I mean, look at Tim and I. We have lasted 5 years in the fantasy industry as middling talents, and I mean, we're still going strong.
And look, Doug was all that was holding me back. He's gone. I'm here now.
There it is.
105, baby.
That's so true.
Okay, so where would you feel comfortable taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a startup draft?
Oh, I would never. I would just never do it because he'll be gone well before I get there.
How about we just go right in to the new calculator game?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, today's prospect is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the trade block, Russ and Tim. I have him dangling right before you, saying, I want offers. I'm going to trade him. Give me an offer in a 12-team Superflex tight end premium league, and we're going based off the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Give me something that I could accept, not based off the calculator, but something in your mind that you're thinking of right now that is almost fair for him. And then I will accept one, and then I'll put it up on the calculator, accepting one. and then I will see who wins. Like
Right.
I'm gonna accept it if it's close or not, and then we'll actually see in the long run who got the better trade.
Picks Are we
or
actually
players.
trying to make a trade for CEH at the 105 value? Is that what you're asking? Because I can't. At his
current value in the DTC calculator.
I feel much better about that. Hopefully, it did not.
just
up.
We're in a league together. You're not using the calculator. You are just offering me players. Like you have the whole player pool to choose from, other than Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Okay.
Send me an offer. Tim, do you have one while he's thinking?
Okay. All right, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I will give you. We gotta.
No, this
not
is my
values.
Team as well. This is my team as well. So players I love are also going the perspective. You got to think about that as well.
And it's tight end premium. Okay.
I'll give you Will Fuller, and that worked for me one time.
That's not funny.
I forgot it's tight end premiums because that kind of threw something in there for me.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
How about Henry Ruggs?
Whoa.
I'm
just broken on what J Mike just said.
J Mike.
Miles Sanders and GJ Chark for CA. I would never in my life be able to bring myself to do that in any world whatsoever.
But that is an offer I am skeptical to even hit, except.
Oh my God. I broke your phone accepting that. That's how much I would accept that. I'm sorry. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
J Mike just revoked that trade right before I could.
He was trying to get Chark for me for in a different league. So yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't a top 3 running back for a majority of the dynasty world. And now not only did he jump to 101, which I never really agreed with.
He was my 101 since he went to Kansas City. He was ahead of Dobbins for me before the NFL draft. I thought he had better talent than Dobbins, so that's my mindset. Dobbins.
But yeah, okay, so that's fine. So you moving him up to 101 based on that, because it seems like he was already your RB 3-ish at. Right?
Are you talking about in Dynasty overall?
No, rookies.
He was, I think before everything, he was 105.
Okay.
In rookie drafts.
But okay, moving him to 101, I never agreed with, but that's fine. I get it because it was a rookie draft. This isn't Saquon Barkley. This isn't Zeke Elliott. No one else made it this high in startups. It doesn't matter. Landing spot can't matter this much. I get that it's the Chiefs. I get that their offense is insane, but man, I will never in my life win this game. I will never. I will never get TEH.
Tyler, how about
give me a trade?
No, go. I'll play this game. It's not going to go well, but I'll play it.
It's not going to go. Okay, Henry Ruggs, TJ Hawkinson, and a third for CEH.
Russ.
That feels so bad. That's an actual trade I would probably do for CEH though, which means it's not going to win. All right, how about this? I would do Leonard Fournette and Ruggs.
I would accept neither, but the closest one I would do, I'm actually going to accept J Mike's. The Miles Sanders.
I would accept J Mike.
Yeah.
So
you're getting a better running back.
I was
you just upgraded at running back. Congratulations.
So I can actually tell you a trade I was thinking in my mind that I feel like is fair and I would be okay with.
Okay.
Swift and Hawkinson for CEH.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's what you have to do. I completely get that. That's fine.
That is a trade I would do myself because I value Swift as on level with CEH. CEH is in a different tier for
you know what though, Tyler. You saying that those are two of your guys. If you could go pull that off, if you had CEH on a team, if you could go pull that off, find that owner that had those two players that you somehow didn't already have, go get them. That's awesome. I think I would take that all day.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. In a super flex league, if you had the 104, It would probably take you at least Hawkinson to get to the 101. So that trade makes complete sense.
So
the way you
Russ,
put it, but do you really? Okay, but let's know. Would Swift and Hawkinson get you Kamara? No. That's the 105. Like that's what we're talking.
So also, I'm gonna accept Russ's trade just to play aside.
He's trying to get me to stop yelling. I get it.
Now Russ, Edwards-Helaire is 37.4 on the calculator,
right, so
and Ruggs is 13.5, and Fournette is 24.8. So your side is 38.3, and Edwards-Helaire is 37.4. So in hindsight, it's actually a good trade.
Well, see, I actually put thought into it, because why would you do this? Because if you're trading CEH, it's one of two things. You're just trying to get off the value that you should be getting, because it's insane right now.
What if he's actually really good? Like, what if he is really good?
Well, that's why you really just shouldn't trade him away if you believed him in the first place. But that's not really the conversation we're having. But like, if you're competing, or at least a middling team, you're getting Fournette, who's going to score you points this year, and then you're getting a young guy back. I didn't have the balls to go higher than Ruggs, is really what it comes down to. I was thinking of like Pittman, or I just couldn't say T. Higgins out loud because it would hurt my soul to get rid of T. Higgins. I was trying to move up Ruggs, a couple more.
So Ruggs was the right move for you to offer me, because I do like Ruggs, and I think his potential is unlimited. Now, Jonnu and Kupp, I would not accept.
See, I was about to say I would absolutely send that for CEH. And the thing is, that even at
that,
you wouldn't get the 101 for Jonnu and Kupp. So I mean,
that's not touching it at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, CEH, you're gonna have to give like we've seen.
You're gonna need to give he's startup value, and it's insane. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I have one copy, and I threw him on the trade block to see if it would happen, and I haven't gotten a single offer. But I had never in my life right now going to try and spend to get CEH. It seems like the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, Doug and I have him in Trade Addict 7, and he is staying put.
Yes, he will. I mean,
let's say the same thing happened with Swift. Let's say Kerryon Johnson called it a night and said he's going to roll out. Swift see a bump like this?
Nah,
Swift value will be a second rounder. If Swift,
it will move up, just not that far. It's just Detroit's going to hold that back.
But so you're saying it's the talent plus landing spot, especially.
100. Oh,
I mean, everybody went absolutely
80% landing spot, 20% talent.
Everybody.
Don't get me wrong; he's the perfect fit for that team. Yes. But the only reason we're freaking out is because he's pretty good, and he is on the Chiefs. That combination of things is all that it is.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, anything with Swift. If I got offered anything with Swift for CH, I'm accepting it. I mean. Swift
that's your boy, Tyler. That's your guy. I mean, on the DTC, when you type in Swift, your little icon comes up as Tyler's boy. So
just like Outhouse took Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley's my man.
You didn't really take it, but I mean, I respect it because Ridley's going to ball out this year. I've tried to trade for him in every league, and I saw you had him in UDPL, and I didn't even bother. I legit was like,
probably the smart.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, I have certain players in certain leagues that I know have certain individuals on their rosters that it's like I really would love to also have that player on my roster, but it's not worth the price that it's going to cost to get them from this manager because of the way they value them as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to be
my biggest problem. My biggest problem
in a home
is
league. Oh, go ahead. No, you go.
My three most owned players are Calvin Ridley, Allen Robinson, and Tyler Boyd. And I love all three of them, and I don't know how I'll ever trade any of them away, so they're always going to be my most owned players.
Yep. And it's funny because in a home league with Swift, like you have your players you want with Swift. It's a contract salary league. I won the championship last year. My running backs are thin. I mean, I used that new Dynasty Nerds my GM tool that they have, which you guys should all check out. It's amazing. It gives you the total value of your players and tells you where you're weak at.
Okay.
And I mean, I checked it out. I'm a little weaker at running back, and I decided, you know what? I had Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Godwin, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore. Like I am filthy rich at receiver. And my running backs are like Todd Gurley, Austin Eckler, and Cam Akers.
So this thing just essentially tells you, hey, dummy, you need running backs.
Delvin Cook. I have Delvin Cook too with Madison, but I really want Swift in this league. So I literally straight up offered DeAndre Hopkins for DeAndre Swift.
Wow. I mean, I guess there's a lot taken into that because Swift is probably on a relatively cheap contract.
Yep.
And
Hopkins has
probably
2 years left with,
yeah.
I think, $20 of cap. So,
and have you tried to trade a regular dynasty share of DeAndre Hopkins right now? It is physically impossible.
yeah, because nobody knows his value. Nobody knows like what he should go for.
He's old and on a new team. I'm just not going to go near that anymore. Yep. Like he's going to bring down the value of my team. Like someone literally said that to me. I just closed the ball.
Oh my god. That's when you just kind of like you whip out that notebook that Pasiga, right in your notebook. Never trade.
All right, let's keep going with the news here. More Eagles news. Alshon Jeffrey has been placed on the active PUP list. No surprise there.
As he recovers from Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah.
I want that to happen so bad.
Yes, so do I. Alshon could be placed on the reserve PUP list at some point, which means missing the first games of the season. So does this mean Rager stock up, gentlemen?
Oh, yeah.
I mean not really. I don't think that.
But does it though? Because we've all been expecting this anyways.
Yes, that's my thing.
Yeah,
Ray has been pushing the value up. Let's be honest. Ray's been pushing the value.
Ray Garvin has completely ruined, just skyrocketed the value. Forget the Harmon pump. Forget the Silva pump. Jalen Rager got the Ray G pump.
I mean, would Rager be like a 3rd round pick if it wasn't for for Ray? Like I honestly I love Rager, and I thought he's gonna be value, and then here comes Ray all off season. No, he's the dude. He's gonna shh.
No, the one thing that made me happy, that sort of made me. I was trying to think of another word for happy because I just said that word already. I read that they were going out of their way to teach Rager every wide receiver position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That made me happy because Rager is awesome in general, but using him to his strengths isn't something every coaching scheme will do. I had faith that Peterson would because he's a smart guy, and I'm very glad they're going through with it. So that does make me feel better about Jalen Rager already.
Speaking of Mr. Peterson, the Eagles head coach, Doug Peterson, has contracted the COVID-19 virus. He let the team know today. I don't know if this really does anything for me when it comes to value of Eagles players. Just not a great offseason for Philadelphia. You lose your starting guard. Obviously, you bring back Jason Peters to try to fill that hole, but he's been playing on the left side of the line his entire career since transferring to the tackle position from tight end. So it's going to be a whole new world over there on the right side. You got guys opting out. You got Alshon. Now your head coach has COVID. So hopefully, especially for me, you see the Eagles flag behind me there. Hopefully the Eagles start getting some good luck. But let's talk about some good luck. The Minnesota Vikings had a little bit of good luck when they saw Mr. Dalvin Cook show up. He's reported to camp, if that's what you want to call what's going on right now. I haven't heard. I'm assuming he's going through the testing period that everybody else has to go through. So obviously that's good news. It was expected news, honestly. I didn't think he was going to hold out too long because I think the new CBA says something like $50,000 a day. If you hold out.
Well, he needs to show up to preseason for this to count towards his free agency. We knew he was going to show. We knew he was going to show up. What he does, how much he does, and how long he stays, I guess, are the two other parts. I think that was 3 things. 3 other parts we need to worry about.
Some news for the IDP fellows out there. Joey Bosa signs the mega extension, 5 years, $135 million. This topped Myles Garrett's record-setting deal that he just inked with the Browns just a few weeks ago. Guys, you got anything for Joey Bosa?
He deserves it. I
mean, always a freak when he's healthy.
Him and his brother both came into league, and people even said with Joey, like Nick is the more talented one that's going to probably get more sacks. But with Joey, people said he's a 12 sack guy, but he's going to be dominating in the run game. That's where he's going to make an impact. I mean, I think Nick is also dominant, but Joey's just bigger, more physical than Nick. Nick's going to be the speed, smart pass rusher that gets you maybe 16 sacks in a year, maybe 20. But yeah, Joey's just going to be, you're going to know where the baseline is with him, and there's going to be seasons where he hits peak. But no, that's a great signing for him. And yeah, I mean, that defense is so good.
That defense is quite nasty. I still want to call them the San Diego Chargers, but the Los Angeles Chargers. And you know what? Congratulations to the Los Angeles Chargers, because now no team will have fans in the stands.
Yeah, so they're not alone anymore.
So sad for how good they actually are.
Miami Dolphins news here. Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback that they drafted to hopefully step into Dan Marino's shadow and lift the Dolphins out of the basement they've been dwelling in since Mr. Marino has left the organization. He gets the okay to practice without limitations. So that is fantastic news after coming off that pretty nasty hip injury there in college. Raheem Mostert reworked his contract, still signed through 2021. The way I read it, it seems like it's mostly just kind of incentives based. And it seems like most of the incentives are pretty easy to hit. So as long as Raheem stays healthy, it seems like he will get the bump in pay that he thinks he deserves. The Steelers signed Wendell Smallwood with an already large running back group. Does Wendell Smallwood do anything for anybody anywhere?
That was fun when it was actually happening. Remember that? Yep. When there was like a game or two?
I do remember that.
No, thank you.
Yeah. COVID IR players that have, players placed when they test positive or have been in close contact with someone who tests positive for the coronavirus. Players to go on IR for 3 weeks if they test positive. So far, some of the bigger names we've got: Mr. Galladay, wide receiver with the Detroit Lions. The tight end for the Lions, we mentioned him not too long ago, TJ Hawkinson. Now some bad luck for the Minnesota Vikings. Rookie wide receiver Justin Jefferson. Richie James, wide receiver for the 49ers, and Logan Thomas says tight end football team. So the Washington football team's tight end football team. Of this list, obviously, I think the first three are easily the biggest names. Any concern for any of these players' values?
I mean, you missed the biggest Lions that happened today. Matt Stafford was put on the list.
Oh, yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, and Stafford is
like, it doesn't mean they did he test positive? I didn't see that.
He was asymptomatical. He is okay, but that could be good news because he could have the plasma. He could help out other people. I mean, the more asymptomatical people we have, the more clear things are going to probably get. So
Stafford needs to start giving his plasma to Galladay and Hawkinson right away.
They're not going to, get it from the back because they've gone in with the needle enough in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's
Russ
I think right at the moment, I don't think we need to really worry about all these players hitting the list. I think when it gets closer to in season is when we have to worry.
Yeah.
I think thankfully if you're going to have a player on one of your rosters that you manage, pop for COVID, contract COVID virus. I think that's
this is steroids, man.
Bad vernacular. Yeah. If you're going to have a player on your roster that's going to contract the coronavirus, I think this offseason or now during camp is you would wish that nobody had to deal with this, but if they're going to have to get it, now would be the time to get it, at least for our interests. Get it over with, get past it.
Exactly. Selfishly, you want it to happen now. You want them to be asymptomatic so it doesn't actually affect their body weight, their muscles in any way, shape, or form. Again, this is pure selfish fantasy football stuff. Yes, you're right. We don't want anyone to get this, but if they got it, let's just get it now. Let's get it over with. You got to cross your fingers. I think I read Doug Peterson was asymptomatic, so he can do some Zoom meetings for 3 weeks and then get back in and everything's fine. So, I mean,
I want to say the Bills had a bunch of rookies pass their tests, were actually already in the building, and then they decided to send them all back home, and we're going to do a bunch of stuff on Zoom. Again, I don't know what really was going on in Buffalo there.
Yeah, it's
going to be an interesting, fun season.
They're going to try. That's what it comes down to. Like, the owners are way too greedy to let this money go away. Because let's face it, they don't lose money. That's not what they do. They want their millions upon millions.
You don't become a owner of an NFL franchise by making bad financial decisions, and they look at this as just nothing but bad financial decisions if they don't play a football season. I'm very interested to see what the NCAA does with their players, because obviously there's no money on the line for the players there.
I really hope they sit.
And a ton of money for these conferences and these schools and the TV deals, and I get all that. But there's got to be some humanity to all this at the end of the day. It's a different world. It's
see, different. Like, especially with college, it sucks because imagine if last year didn't happen. We have CEH at the 105 right now. He wouldn't be in our minds if last year's college football didn't happen. Yeah. Same thing with Joe Burrow, to be fair. Like he was the number one pick in the NFL draft. Like it would suck for those guys that just go off this year to not get to do that, to make them millions before they get into the NFL.
So everybody trade for 2022 draft picks, because a lot of college players might actually.
There's going to be some gems.
I'm saying go nuts on second rounds. That's for a very different reason.
Yes.
Get second rounds. Like we also get second rounds for 2020 because this thing is this
class is so deep.
There you go. This class is so stacked. You'll still be getting great players. Here's the thing. Even if there is a season, so many players are going to hold out. So we're going to be stuck with either a lot of preconceived notions from last year, and a lot of just like churning about like why Juju fell into the second round for some reason, just because he was a first rounder in our heads since he was 14 years old, that we had enough time to start saying bad stuff about him. Like this is going to be such a weird draft. And if you did your research, you know what these players are, you'll be able to grab CEH and Joe Burrow in the second round because no one else knows who they are.
Yep.
Like this, like right now, I don't know. It's funny, I have the Trade Addict show and I trade everything. I don't know if there's a difference in the value of the 21 picks right now. I don't think there is. I don't think it's hit everyone's minds that crap, this draft is going to be so weird. Maybe I need to just get rid of these. But the problem is we might not have a season, so we don't really know who's doing what. I think
this next year's draft is going to be for the people that enjoy scouting, grinding tape, going out there and doing that scouting on your own and not necessarily listening to the combine numbers and look at the box scores at the end of the year. It's going to be the people that can go back and, okay, let's see what he did in his junior season since he held out his senior season here. Let's go back. Let's watch some film. Let's do a little studying of his numbers for the past couple years. And, hey, I really like this player. Oh, he didn't go to the 4th round in the NFL draft. Hey, that's because the NFL didn't get a chance to really look at him either this senior season. And
you know how you can learn about these players? Maybe you guys listen to the Devy Happy Hour.
There you go.
That's very true. And also, I'm going to be here on Twitter just waiting for the first person to be like, I'm passing on Trevor Lawrence. He's sat too much. It's almost been so many months since he's played football.
He hasn't thrown a football in 20 months. Yeah. I'm not going to.
He sat on his ass eating Cheetos all day, so he's a fat guy now.
He hasn't been out there for the past 20 months throwing 150 passes a day.
Remember how we were like metaphorically begging Jadeveon Clowney to sit out his junior year?
Yeah.
And now that I think it's happening, I really do think people are going to hold it against them somehow. They'll know in their hearts that it was the right thing to do, because why risk getting COVID when Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields are probably going to be pick 1, pick 2 anyway. But seriously, someone somewhere is going to. That guy's a wuss. He wouldn't go play for his team. He doesn't care.
Oh, he's already got a.
I'm going to tell you right now.
He's already got a message. He's already got something drafted on his Twitter, ready to hit send in the springtime. Like he's editing that constantly every day. Like, no, I could word this better. Yeah, okay, let's do it this way. Like
he's calling up a tutor. Like, hey, how's it sound?
It's going to turn into a Unabomber manifesto somehow.
18-page. Yeah. All right. So before we get into stats and stuff, I wanted to talk to you about our other sponsor. It's a great sponsor. They're our newest sponsor. It is Manscaped. Support for the Dynasty Happy Hour is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Now, I can be 100% honest. We got our kits about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago at this point now, Tyler. I've used mine multiple times. I actually right now sitting in, I have shorts over top of them, but the Manscaped underwear that come along with them, the anti-chafing underwear. I work in an outdoor area, hot, sweaty. It's just dirty and nasty. I'm telling you, chafing can be a problem. And every time I've worn these underwear, never a problem. That is why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3. That is the tool that came in our kit. Like I said, I've used it a couple times. It is fantastic. The third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce manscaping accidents thanks to Manscaping advanced skin-safe technology. When I tell you this is premium, I mean it is premium. The battery lasts up to 90 minutes, so you can have a longer shave if maybe you haven't got the opportunity to clean up in a few weeks, up to 90 minutes. It is a water-resistant technology, allows you to take the groomer in the shower with you. One of the coolest features is the LED light, which illuminates the grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming experience. They've also upgraded to a 7,000 revolutions per minute, that is RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And let's not forget about the charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud because it is intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. If you are listening to me speak right now and want to experience it firsthand for yourself, trim that junk of yours, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DHH at manscaped.com. And I tell you this wholeheartedly, your balls will thank you. And Tyler, what else?
We have a giveaway. We are giving away one of these awesome kits that Tim was just mentioning. And I have a winner. You guys, I want to announce
Tyler,
the winner.
Do you want to talk about everything that's in that little kit right there?
There is the, what is it? The deodorant that I use every day.
It's the ball deodorant.
It is a game changer. It is amazing.
You have the reviving spray. Let's say, I put the ball deodorant on this morning. I go out and let's say I'm pulling some weeds in the front flower bed or something. And I come back in. Maybe I don't need to take a full shower. I can take a couple sprays of that. Boom. Nice and refreshed down there. Get you smelling right. Yes. There's the underwear. There's the t-shirt. There is the Lawnmower 3.0 with that ceramic blade, the quiet stroke technology, everything we were just talking about. It comes with the charging stand. There's the travel kit. It comes with the newspaper stuff to lay out on the floor so you can shave over top of. Easy cleanup. It is a fantastic kit. Tyler, who is our winner?
The FF Porkman. Porkman is the winner. So get a hold of me after you listen to this, and we will get your shipping and all that stuff, and we will send this bad boy out to you as soon as possible so you, sir, can get your Manscaped on.
Now, FF Porkman, I don't necessarily need to see the finished product, but if you would like to tell us how awesome this stuff is after you get a chance to use it, that'd be awesome. Just to let everybody else know that we are not lying. This is a fantastic little kit, product, tool. You're going to be very happy with it. I promise you that. So lastly, remember to get 20% off and your free shipping, use the code DHH over at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the code DHH. So guys, now that we're done with our sponsor reads for the day, let's have some fun playing some stats and stuff. Are you gentlemen ready?
Let's go.
Okay, so I will give info for two mystery players. You two will decide which player you prefer. If you think you know the players, you can guess the players after
B.
After we both answer.
C.
At which point I will reveal the players and their ADPs. All right. So player A has seen his yards per target dip each of the last two seasons to a career low of 7.9 yards per target. Ranked third on his team in targets for market share, yielding just over 14% of the team's targets last season. Player A is 4 years younger than player B. All right. Player B experienced a career low in receptions per game with just 4.6 in 2019. Has had a 20 plus percent market share in every season where they've played at least 12 games. And player B can be had one round later in your dynasty startups than player A.
Oh, man. Russ, do you have any idea who they are? Because I do not. I mean, I'm at a loss for this one. I mean,
I
think player A is the younger player.
Right.
Yep.
Saw a 14% target share last season of their team's targets. Career low 7.9 yards per target. But then player B, the older player, remember?
Yep,
20% or more of the team's target share. 4.6 receptions a game, though, is kind of scary. But they are around cheaper.
And both have elite first 2 seasons. So
let's go with which player based off the stats and stuff you would choose.
The B side, the 20% market share is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And
unless the team's only throwing the ball 25 times a game.
That's very true.
But it's still opportunity. I'm fine with that. I mean, player B, I'll take the market share.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to go contrarian because
Tyler loves this. Even if he wanted it to be player B, he always likes to go with the other guy.
I love doing this, but I'm going to go A for the youth and that he's around ahead of player B. So
just because of the 4 years.
80, yeah, that's probably true. So, I mean, you could be getting AJ Green and I could be getting Tyler Boyd or something like that. So,
and anybody in the chat think they got it.
So somebody said they think they know who player A is, the fantasy football intervention.
Do either one of you gentlemen think you know who either player is?
Oh God, I absolutely have no
What
clue.
if I told you they played in the same division?
So I'm guessing it's the AFC North. That's my guess.
Are you asking or are you telling me?
I'll guess. So intervention said Juju for one of the players. And I'm guessing that's A.
Ding, 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 ding. We got player A. Juju is player A.
Ha. See you,
so
Russ.
Tyler, you have selected Mr. Juju. Russ, do you feel good about your pick still? Player B?
I don't have a choice, so yeah, I do.
But I mean, think about this. Player B is only 4 years older, so he's still 24 years old himself.
I know, right?
Because Juju's still like 16.
So player B.
Wait, hold on. Give me the stuff again about player B. I wanted to actually take a guess.
Okay, player B experienced a career low in receptions per game with just 4.6. So 4.6 receptions per game. 20+% target share for his team every time they've played at least 12 games. Can be had one round later in dynasty startups than Mr. Juju.
Can I guess? Can I guess? Tyler. It's OBJ.
We have Boyd in the chat, and you're saying OBJ. It is OBJ.
It couldn't be Boyd. There's
the 20% is what makes it OBJ in the 4 years, because I know OBJ is going to be 28 this year, and Juju is 24. But yeah, that 20% market share. I mean, OBJ when he played was getting just target after target. They were really trying to get him involved.
I feel good. I still feel good with my pick. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured along the lines of what kind of player it was.
I mean, you can't go wrong either way.
Yeah.
So I think we both win. But no, that was a great segment to show just how far from elite these guys have fallen. Like Juju was a first round pick.
It's how far from elite the hive mind has them as fallen. I don't think
Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Juju. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Odell Beckham.
I mean, my answer is going to be CEH because I know I can get more in return. But honestly,
it's a value thing. If you're telling me I can have any one of those three to start,
who would I choose? My order would probably be Juju, Odell, CEH out of the three of them.
I'm 100% with Russ there. But yes, based off if I had any one of those three players, and you're saying here's this free asset, there you go. I know I could turn around, and in our Dynasty Trade Calculator segment, we're going next. The first one is CAH. DeAndre Swift plus a 2021 first. Cam Akers plus a 2021 first. Joe Mixon swap, Alvin Kamara swap in question marks there. I'm not getting those for either OBJ or Juju straight up. So
yeah, my only issue with CEH is that I did not bid more in the rookie auction in Pigs 3. That's my biggest issue.
So I think for building my own rosters, I'd rather have the receivers.
Yep.
And
also quickly before we go into anything else, I want to give a shout out to our pals at the Fantasy Footballers. They have their UDK out, and I know redraft season's coming.
Ultimate
and
draft
I want to tell you guys that we do have a code, DHH. You can get the $5 off the Ultimate Draft Kit. It's awesome. It's fantastic. And you know what? It helped me win a title in my only redraft league last year. I mean, I thought I wasn't going to be in it because they were thinking about doing a actual get together draft, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm not having any of that. Not during this time when we can actually have it online. We can do it over the app. Why even bother? Finally, they all decided the champ needs to be in. The champ is the champ. So I am in this. I'm defending my title.
There you go.
And the Ultimate Draft Kit is going to be by my side again, ready to help me draft. So, like I said, DHH is the code. Go out, snag that thing. It's
their app is super, super slick. It's a very nice app. It's awesome. It will definitely help you for your redraft drafts. It is that time. So you guys want to talk about the Dynasty Trade Calculator segment here quick? I just kind of spilled the beans on the CEH, but we have two other players here. Tyler, your boy, Julio Jones. The Dynasty Trade Calculator has Julio Jones as a fair value here. Justin Jefferson plus a 2021 second. Which side of that do you prefer? For Julio? No, this is Julio Jones. Julio Jones or Justin Jefferson plus the second.
Very team dependent. It's super team dependent. But if I'm 2 years in a championship window, I'm going Julio all the way. I mean, there is no way I'm getting off Julio. I am having a trouble in this redraft league. Who am I keeping? Am I keeping Tyreek Hill or am I keeping Julio? I mean, where would you go there? It's a PPR. Julio's going to destroy this year. I mean, it's Matt Ryan's good season. So obviously Matt Ryan's going to throw for 5,000 yards and Julio's going to have a crazy good year. So
with 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, with 8 touchdowns. And that's the insane part. He's still a top 8 receiver every year with single digit touchdowns, sometimes 4 or 5.
That's sad. That's going to hang over his head, after his career. Oh, it just wasn't a touchdown score. It's just how the things broke. I mean, this guy was such an animal. You guys see that video clip of Larry going up to oh God, I'm blanking on his name. Before
we're talking about him. Larry Fitzgerald going up to Julio Jones?
No. It was Larry Fitzgerald going up to Kyler Murray before they played Atlanta last year. And he said, hey, man, watch number 11. He's the best I've ever seen. Just letting him know, like, hey, you're about to witness greatness over here. He's like, he does freakish things.
So what Atlanta didn't really do Julio's first couple seasons was use him on crossing routes and just let him go after the catch. Atlanta liked to throw it deep when they first got Julio.
That's because they still had Roddy.
The first 4 years, or the last 4 years, when they just sent Julio on a slant and give it to him and let him run, I mean, it's like you hold your breath because that dude is strong. He's going to outrun you. He looks gigantic compared to everybody. And he's just like, he's got moves that can just like leave your cleats right where they were. Like it's how a human was made like that is beyond me. And I'm just the leftover parts, and Julio got all the grade A.
He got the good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he got the top shelf booze, and I'm sitting here drinking PBR.
There's nothing wrong with the PBR every now and then.
There isn't, actually.
All right, so this is going to be kind of in the same vein as that Justin Jefferson, but again, Julio Jones or Jalen Reagor plus a 2021 first. Again, I think it's, if you're in that window, if you think you have a real shot at it, I think it's Julio. You got to stick with the proven production. Obviously, the shiny new toys that is Justin Jefferson and Jalen Reagor are very attractive. Plus, you get that pick. And we just talked about, stacking up some of these 2021 picks. There will be people in your leagues that think, I have no idea. There just wasn't a college season. I don't know any of these guys. I don't know. Well, you can take advantage of that, but I think I'm going to stick with Julio Jones if I'm in that championship window.
Oh yeah. Which is the reason I like this is I am drafting Rager before Jefferson. It's Rager was my wide receiver 2 after the draft. I love Judy, but he's just in such a mess of an offensive weapon.
When you have a superstar like Drew Lock throwing him the ball,
I still think they're going to run the ball more than we want them to. So I'm putting. I know you're not supposed to really put situation this far ahead, but I really did because, man, like we wanted someone like Rager to land in Philadelphia. So I feel like that means we should move him up a little bit. So he's my wide receiver 2 in this class. So I do take him over Jefferson in the first place. So to get a first instead of a second, I mean, I prefer that package if I'm going to take either.
I think that the Broncos are attempting to be like Cowboys light. You know, they're a million different offensive weapons. So yeah, I mean, the offense can go off for 45 points. It's great. But which player is actually going to do it?
Never going to. That's why you just get Drew Lock because
Amari's going to have the big week. CeeDee's going to have the big week. Lamb's going to have the big week, and then over in Denver, you're going to, Judy, Sutton, one of the tight ends goes nuts. It's
Brandon Alberto was one of the weirdest parts for me.
Apparently they went to Lock and he was raving about him, wanted him bad, and I understand.
We knew that, but like, man, you just got fans really early.
I don't know if he's good. He's good in a straight line. I mean, give him the ball.
That's exactly what they did with Fant though at the end of the year. Run down the seam, and guess what? Lock's gonna throw it to you because you remind him so much of the guy they just drafted.
Fant had the ball in his hand when he was running down the seam. That's the thing. Alberto,
I one in the week 15, week 16, skied in the back in the end zone, brought one in. Oh.
See, but now that's what we need them to do with their tight ends because we need Jerry Jeudy to get that intermediate stuff.
Yeah. So
Judy is going. I think Judy's going to be very safe. He's going to be the 6 catches. Like even if he gets 50 yards, I mean that's 11 points in PPR. Yeah. And if I'm getting 11 points for my wide receiver 4 or
you can't be upset about it. Yeah,
you're not going to be upset
because Sutton does have the upside. I think Sutton's going to be the guy that's going to have those 35-point weeks more often than not for that team. But yeah, he's also going to have that week where they're going to bracket coverage him, and he's going to have 8 points for your fantasy team,
which hurts my soul because I love him.
Shoot, so okay. So in a super flex league, let's remind Jameis Winston, 2021 first for Jameis Winston in super flex.
Easy.
No,
I'll take the pick.
Oh, the pick. Yeah, I'm going the pick.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was like, wait, are we on different sides at the same time? Okay.
I mean, I'm sure Winston gets a chance to start at some point, sometime. But I would easily take that pick.
If he starts in New Orleans, which I actually think is a possibility because this is Bree's last year. Like this is for sure.
This is the year Larry Fitzgerald and Frank Gore hang him up. I swear, this is it. This is the year
because Breeze signed with NBC to actually announce Notre Dame games in 2021.
Yeah, it's true.
He legit signed the contract.
That's true. Yes, he is. It is in writing there.
Doesn't matter. That there's a clause in there if he decides to play.
His birthmark will work magic, and he'll all of a sudden be in the football field.
He'll grow a second Drew Brees.
So okay, he'll grow a second Drew Brees. If you made this trade right now, and you took a 2021 first for Jameis Winston, and Jameis decides he's going to hang around New Orleans next year,
he's worth
just lose value.
He's worth a first if he's the quarterback in New Orleans next year.
Okay, or how about this? Jameis Winston for a 2021 and a 2022 second rounder.
So
I mean, I'd probably still take it. That's fine because
I think you're pushing. I still think I could
do. I think I could do more with those picks now than nothing on my roster, hoping that he sticks around New Orleans because
nothing right now on your roster in the most volatile NFL season we've ever seen.
That's fair.
A couple players on that New Orleans team contracts the coronavirus. Drew Brees ends up being one of those guys. He's out for 2-3 weeks. Jameis Winston all of a sudden gets to be the starter.
Yeah, but what happens if he does bad? Okay.
So if you sell him, right now for 2 seconds.
Like if he comes out and he's Jameis and he goes for 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's great for fantasy, but that's not going to get him signed by the Saints next year.
I'm going to be honest with you. Sean Payton is not going to allow Jameis to be bad. I honestly think
the coach can't make him throw certain passes when he's on the field. He's going to throw those yellow passes.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Did you see what Payton did with Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, he made him throw for like 7 yards a pass. It was
but he made him money. because Teddy was 5-0.
Teddy does not have the same DNA as Jameis Winston. But Teddy has that. I'm going to listen to my very smart, offensively minded coach. Jameis is like YOLO, bitch. Bam.
Jameis lost a ton of weight, and he does not look like an NFL quarterback.
Athleticism was not his issue.
Yeah. Here's my thing. If you sell Jameis Winston in a Superflex right now for 2 seconds, and let's say we get to week 6, and Drew Brees is he's got the corona, he's going to be out for 3 weeks. So weeks 7, 8, and 9 are going to be all Jameis Winston. The second that news breaks, sell Jameis Winston. I think you're getting more than 2 seconds right then and there.
I bet you could get it first.
100% fair. That is
if he does come out there and throw for 5 touchdowns and no picks, then you're gonna be like, oh man, I look like a donkey. But you got to know that one of those games is right around the corner because it's Jameis does.
Also, you have to look at yourself and be like, okay, I should have gotten out last year when he was throwing for 5,000 yards. Yeah. When almost every single fantasy football analyst was saying sell Jameis. I mean, he's going in the free agent year. The team didn't even want to re-sign him. And if you had the chance to sell Winston, I mean, you missed your chance. So yeah, if you get a chance.
Think about this though. That year we had the Winston Mariota debate. Yeah. We now have Jameis Winston on a very, very team-friendly contract to back up in New Orleans. And Mariota is a backup to Derek frickin' Carr.
Yeah, that did not go
well. People were talking about some of these guys being can't miss types, but
I loved Mariota too.
So, one other thing about the corona, I listened to this podcast today when I was doing some yard work. If you are a commissioner of leagues and have tried to be brainstorming, and maybe you want to hear some other people with their ideas, the Commission Possible podcast had a coronavirus episode. The guys from DLF, John Bosch was on it. Some really good commissioners. Obviously, Scott Fish is one of the co-hosts of that show. So they kind of cover almost every league you can think of: Devy leagues, keeper leagues, dynasty leagues. They're different ideas for how to handle the draft order, how to handle payments, how to handle this, that, roster spots, all those sort of things. So they aren't part of the Dynasty Happy Hour family, but it was a very good podcast that'll get your brain turning a little bit, especially if you commission leagues. It's something you should at least listen to and just kind of hear some other people's ideas. So.
Also, go check out dynastyhappyhour.com because our new writers are throwing out fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And you got to give them all a follow. Just follow the Twitter, Dynasty HH Pod. And we post up new articles that are posted because we have articles coming out every day or every other day. I mean, they are really putting in the work. They are putting the effort. I just want to say thanks to them. And I appreciate the hard work.
We have the rankings over there, the do your own rankings as well.
Yep. I mean, we have a lot coming out, even with not much news. We still have our writers pushing and plugging and pulling out some great content. I mean, we just had an article about the Miami backfield, and I mean, Troy did fantastic work, and man, it's awesome. You got to go check it out.
Also, this show right here is live every week on YouTube and Periscope. You can find us by searching a Dynasty Happy Hour on either platform, and then please click the subscribe button there so you can get the notifications when we're going to go live. And you don't ever have to miss an episode. You get to see Tyler, myself, and now apparently every week Russ. So it's gonna be a weird season, weird camp. I am looking so forward to when these guys are in the facilities, they're past their conditioning stage, and we actually get some, real news, some real insight. But even that, it's going to be a weird news year because not all the reporters are going to be there. They're not going to have any sort of open training practices for the public, things like that. So, find those beat reporters that you really, really trust. This is what I would suggest. Find those few every team has a handful of beat reporters that really have good contacts. So find out who those beat reporters are, dig in, and that's where to try to get your news. Not saying that everything you read is going to be bad.
The hardest part is that even they're not allowed into the facility. I mean, there's a select few. Even Cecil Lammy, who I listen to the Audible podcast, he is on like an every other day basis, and that dude has like the
he's in with the Broncos. Yeah, he does a radio show about the Broncos on a daily basis. That's his job. He covers the Broncos for a living.
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part about this year is that's the reason why we're not getting these sweet videos of players. Like we get them occasionally, but we're not getting that hype, and that's why, like in leagues, like in Trade Addict 7, Russ, like there's not much movement because we're kind of just waiting.
It's so rough.
You don't want to send an offer out there. Like every offer I've sent out recently, I've reached out to those individuals that I'm sending the offers to and let them know, like, hey, I'm going to let this hang out until, I work evenings. So I'm going to let this hang out until I get off work. It'll be, right around midnight. At that point, I'm going to rescind the offer because I don't want to let it hang too long. And then a
2
COVID
in the morning,
story
your tweet goes out and you're sleeping,
or you just get caught in that bad spot and you look like a dick because of it. And, so you just kind of have to protect yourself, and people have that in the back of their heads.
It's such a weird year, and I am the king of wanting to make moves, and I've been like there's been more like Swift I've been trying to get full ownership of, but that's going to be nearly impossible because people know, and I'm going to have to overpay. But like there's other players I'm kind of sniffing at, like Joshua Kelly I want some shares of, and he's become overpriced because there's been one 3-second clip of him with a mask on in a Chargers uniform, and people are
Eckler did the shirtless photo.
Oh yeah,
skyrocket. If it was a shirtless workout video, he'd be the 105 right now.
It's funny because I actually made a trade for Eckler in a home league, that same home league that has contracts and salaries. And Doug and Tim hate the deal. Like they hate the deal. It's IDP, and I upgraded in linebacker, and I think I got an upgrade at quarterback. But like I traded Kamara in the deal, and I got Eckler back, and I think Eckler can score just as many points as Kamara.
You were talking to two not anti-Eckler guys, but just Eckler just never been one of our guys. We both just kind of have that similar stance on Eckler, and we talked about doing that shirtless workout video and skyrocketing. If I did a shirtless workout video, my stock would actually drop. I would
Dynasty Happy would actually probably be off.
I would just become a street free agent immediately.
He would literally destroy Dynasty Happy Hour as a whole. I mean, we would all be looking for work.
The way you have to hear that is you have a lot of power, Doug, man, God damn it, Tim, you have a lot of power. I told you, rent free. I gotta say a name. The name Doug is coming out.
Everyone's Tim. Doug now. Yeah. Doug.
And the thing is, I see Doug's face. That's both of you, which is the weird part.
What?
Like,
Doug's in my house.
Doug's everywhere. Yeah. So it's gonna be weird when I go upstairs to bed and Doug's in there.
Yeah.
He lives under your bed.
Yeah. It's like that book, How I Met My Monster. That's a story about Doug.
Yeah. Okay, we have started to go off the rails, so let's go ahead and wrap this up, gentlemen. Russ, thank you so much for joining us this week, and maybe next week and the week after that as well. We'll see what happens. But tell everybody where they can find you and hear more of your beautiful ramblings.
Oh yes. Well, I am at Dynasty Outhouse on Twitter. I have started with my homeboy Brian Haar at Brian Haar FF. We started the Dynasty Addicts Podcast Network on Twitter, the DAP_network. So clearly we have a show there, the Trade Addicts Podcast, but we also have the Dynasty Junkies and the Fantasy Timeline, two of my favorite shows in the first place. And then that they were nice enough to jump on our network is, just awesome. I'm also co-host of Dynasty Game Night with John Bosch and Matt Price. I am also co-host of Split Takes Pod, which we do for the DFPN network, the best and only network in town. I'm apparently a co-host of the Dynasty Happy Hour at this point. So
any other show that Russ goes on, he will then be a co-host of that show as well. So
the only show I can't do it is to the Open Bar because they own everything else already. Yeah. So I can't. Yeah. That's one thing I just can't break my way into.
Yeah. I mean, you could try, but you're going to get throat chopped. So
And like the thing is, he says like throat chop as he does it, and you're like you're powerless to move. But
like,
I mean, you got to remember, J. Mike was a defensive lineman in college, so I mean, he's got the hands of a freaking black bear, and he's got the mind of a tiger in the Sahara Desert. So I mean,
he's all about the kill. You know?
There was a T-shirt I always used to want, but never. I refused to pay money for T-shirts, but it was mind of a ninja, body of a manatee.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
But I'm not spending $28 on that T-shirt. So I mean, like it was from a webcomic, so the dude just that's how he makes money. But yeah, sorry, bro, just not spending $28.
If it was a sticker, that's where you get Russ's heart.
Oh man, I need a bigger laptop.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, check us out over there on the dynastyhappyhour.com. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Periscope. Subscribe. Give us that like. Give us the thumbs up. All that good stuff that you do online. And we'll see you right here next week on the Dynasty Happy Hour.